Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching in the world. It's a show that's going to pain me a little bit today because I've got to talk about the poorer side of North London. Obviously, cover a lot of Arsenal content as well. But no, like to keep it honest. And Gaz joins me this morning as we look at what Spurs might be doing in regards to transfers. But before we go to transfers, Gaz, we've probably got to touch on the big Ange situation. Thomas Frank being heavily linked with
Yeah,
Tottenham. Do you think it's fair to say Spurs are looking at their options before they make a decision? Ange is under contract anyway. Or do you think that you've now got to get this decision out the way because you're going to fall behind and you already had such a poor league season last year? Welcome to the show, mate, and welcome to everybody that's watching.
yeah. Like I said, we can. That's the problem. Falling behind is bad with the transfers. We need transfers now. You need to get them in it soon. Liverpool's doing business already with Frimpong, and it looks like they're getting that Kirkes and that as well. And Verts. Liverpool looks pretty much as if they've got a strategic plan of what they're doing when they're doing. Spurs, like we haven't even announced if we're going to keep the same manager or not. It's disgrace. So that's something that's got to be done with that, mate. It's real frustrating because like what on earth, it's very hard to like put names and numbers on stuff, and who wants who. And like we even got people like Tell, right? Tell come back on, has been on loan with an option to buy. But if we're getting a new manager, he might go, well, I don't want to spend the 45 million, 50 million on Tell. I want to use it for somebody else. So yeah, it's a bit of a piss take, to be honest, but they need to make a decision soon.
Would you take Thomas Frank over Ange Postecoglou?
Oh, what a question to ask me.
What I'm here for,
Would I?
Gaz. That's what I'm
Yeah.
here for.
Okay, so would I take him? I've always liked Thomas Frank. I've always liked Thomas Frank. Always like watching Brentford, like how they play. Love his very tactical analysis. But I'm gutted to see Ange go. I am gutted to see Ange go because I think there's a project in there, and I'm one of these guys, that I've seen a bit of a project. I've seen certain glimpses. And I'd like to sort of stick with that a little bit longer. I think we're pushing the bullet a little bit too soon, especially given the success in Europe. I know we had bad leagues start, but yeah, no, we've had a funny season, so it could turn around. It could set us back. Then put it that way.
I mean, I think he's going. And I'd love to know
Yeah, I
people's
think he
thoughts.
is
I
now.
think, I think the silence is almost so deafening that they
Absolutely.
haven't come out and backed him and said, no, he won us the Europa League last year, the Tin Pot Cup, and whatever else.
Yeah, yeah.
That he's now going to be, he's our manager next season. He's under contract. Sure, we'll review and whatever else, but they haven't. They haven't.
No.
And I would say they're sounding out other options right now.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'd fancy Thomas Frank to be in there now. I'm sure they're just trying to figure out how they're going to, let Ange go and notify people. But yeah, he's gone in my opinion. Like I'm 95% opinion he's gone.
Welcome to the seventh creative. First European trophy in 41 years and sacked Spurs doing Spurs things. Nice to see that the seventh creative is working hard this Tuesday morning. But look, right hand side of your screen, there's a scrolling um, widget, we'll call it, of Spurs players or future Spurs players potentially that we're going to discuss. Starting off with Sane, Gehi, Eze, Gomes, Simmons, Tell, you name it. We've got the latest and breaking stories for those players. I think it's fair to say, Gaz, looking at the players in Cuckoo as well, Dibbling and Mbeumo, Spurs are looking at wide players this year or this
Yeah,
summer.
yeah. Wide attacking players, people that can take people on for sure. Yeah, we're just a little bit light up there, that's all. Especially with Kulu now moving from the right to the centre. He's now sort of like as a 10, he's now kind of rattling with Madison as that sort of a creative central sort of player, where Kulu was always on the right hand side before. So now we've got Brennan Johnson on the right, we've got Odebear, we've got quite young lads, we've got obviously Mickey Moore as well, Tell if he's going to sign. And this is why we're a little bit light then, say, especially in quality and experience, and people like the likes of Eze and people like that, and then Mbeumo, and which we're going to talk about in a sec.
Yeah, and down in the chat, and Buemo's coming up saying he wants United though, but not saying that he doesn't. Newcastle linked with him as well. We'll be talking about Mbeumo in the show, but maybe the
Hmm.
Thomas Frank factor and Champions League football could also sway where Mbeumo ends up playing his football next year. I'm
100%.
sure if Thomas Frank's met Daniel Levy, who's a shrewd businessman, not just a chairman of a football club, he's a shrewd businessman first. I'm sure Thomas Frank's gone to him with the types of players he'd be looking to sign in order to get Spurs competing back at the top, the top level of English football and European football as well next season. The last thing you want is to go into the Champions League and not get out of the first stages. If Ange leaves, does he get another Premier League club? Gaz, Matt wants to know.
100%. He deserves a Premier League club, and I think this is where it could come back to bite it on the arse. You mark my words. It wouldn't surprise me if he went to somewhere like, let's just say,
West
I
Ham,
don't know, a West Ham or a project or something like that,
Fulham.
and went, yeah, and done well, and really sort of brought, say, Fulham to sort of like that sort of Champions League heights. And yeah, no, honestly, there's something there. I think we're going backwards, but it's a tough one because I like Thomas Frank. I really do. I mean, I've watched lots of tactical things recently. Love his analysis. Love how he talks. Love the mannerisms of the guy. Different type of character to Ange. But yeah, I feel like we're just kind of, it's not step back, but stumbling. Then say
Yeah,
rather than progressing.
yeah, that's fair enough. Right, rumor mills there. Shall we get into our first player of the day?
Yeah, go on, shoot.
It's a potential free transfer. Daniel Levy loves a free transfer, although free transfers work a little different to they did once upon a time. Now they come with massive signing on fees,
Yeah.
bonuses galore, agents fees, and everything else. And it's Leroy Sane, Gaz. Now, obviously,
Mm.
currently under contract with Bayern Munich. His agent, Pinizave, was in Munich late last week. Bayern are still trying to do a deal to keep him. Sane is open to staying, but is looking at his options from a Premier League side of things. If he's to come to the Premier League, he only wants to go to London. I believe that's family reasons as well. And look, who wants to live in Manchester of all places? It rains there all year round. Your noisy neighbours just down the road, Arsenal, are also linked with him. Looking at the interested clubs, there is only really those two at the moment. He's 29 years old. He's not leaving Bayern for the lack of playing games. 43 appearances last year, 12 goals, 7 assists. Can play both on the right and the left of a three. Up top. Very very good player. German international. Was good in phases, I think, for Manchester City during his time in the Premier League, but he's matured as well over in the Bundesliga. I've got Spurs here as a higher chance of signing him than Arsenal. I just think Arsenal have got other targets. First and foremost, is this a player that would interest you as a Spurs fan? Does he get you up off your seat?
Yeah, that's a good question. Does he get me off of my seat? Interested, yes, for sure. Does he get me off my seat? If it's the same Sane we're getting at Man City, yes, 100% he gets me off my seat because I thought he was absolutely wicked at City. And I was so surprised when City got rid of him. I thought this player is good now, brilliant now,
Attitude, I think, was an
and
issue.
he's going to get better. I think his attitude correct. So as attitude changed, which is obviously going to improve with age, we all know that. So not everybody, but it
Yeah,
generally does.
mine's still
So,
terrible.
but it does. So there's that one. But I'm just a little bit worried. Can he do the same stuff? Because we want a dribbler. I mean, Brennan Johnson's been chipping in the goals off the right hand side. It's 12 goals this season. Some big goal, obviously, in the final and that as well. He generally is a runner who runs in behind, gets in the back post and gets goals. That's where he gets a lot of his goals from. Or he's got space to run into. But as in going past somebody, dribbling past someone, close control rather than knocking it past them, that's something Sane can do. And that's something that, we really, really need on that right-hand side. So providing he can still do that at 29 and do it with success, yes, I would like him, yeah.
Yeah, I need to update something. I do apologize because I've got the market value of him at 50 million. He's definitely not. He's on a free.
Free, yeah.
But
Free free transfer's a no-brainer, yeah.
yeah,
Free,
yeah,
I
free.
mean, I think it's huge wages though. So I mean, free transfers all sound good, but I'm sure he's like pushing 250, 300 grand a week. So it's a lot. It'll be a lot of dough. It'll be a lot of dough.
Yeah. He's not
Yeah,
free of charge in terms. Oh, sorry, he's not 50 million or up there. He's changed to free market value. Let's get
yeah,
that right first and
yeah.
foremost. Look, he's a very good player. I actually did on my podcast the other day talking about Arsenal. I said I didn't actually want Arsenal to sign him, only because I don't. I believe he's not an upgrade on Martinelli, and I think when you get to a certain at any club, Gaz, I think even if it's Spurs as well, do I think he's better than Tell, for example? You're looking at Tell for 50
Mm,
million, 45 to 50 million,
yeah,
who's also at Bayern Munich as well. You had him on loan last year. We'll talk about him as well. If I'm Spurs, I'm saying I'd rather take Sane. The wages will be bigger. But
yeah.
But there's a
The thing
Spurs
is,
don't just
yeah,
need potential anymore. They need proven players. And I think it's a bit like the Gyökeres Sesko discussion that everyone is now talking about at Arsenal. Are you buying potential? Are you buying proven?
yeah. But the thing is with Tell, you can buy someone that can play through the centre as a striker, second striker as well. That's a difference, and I don't think Sane can do that. He's more of a wider player, Sane, isn't he? He's not someone that can play as a two or even play in the whole playing as a nine himself. Tell can, and he has played a few games at Spurs in that sort of role as the lone striker. So that's a big difference, especially if we do get Thomas Frank, because Thomas Frank loves playing 3-5-2 sometimes. So we would require someone that can play that sort of a striker role. And Sane for me is just pure winger for me. I don't see him playing as that sort of central role.
So you're of the you would take him or you wouldn't take him, you'd look at other options.
I would take him for what we need on the right hand side, as we need Tell as well. But for that dribbling aspect, we need someone that can dribble, go past someone on the right hand side, and that is Leroy Sané, providing he can still do what he did at City.
And
So
and
free, I would
also,
take him.
yeah, and also let's be straight here. And just said, it was, last year we bought young players, inexperienced, they've
Mm,
gone on and won a trophy. Great, but also he has called for this year, those young players need a little bit of experience from
yeah,
from some incomings that have maybe been there and done it. So he fits the mold of what Big Ange is asking for. I
that's
actually
right.
don't think he fits the mold of what Thomas Frank would be asking for, though.
Maybe not, because there's probably another guy we know who can also play on the right hand side there.
Yeah,
And I think if Thomas Frank comes, would I prefer Mbeumo compared to Sané? Well, I'd have Mbeumo all day long because he's Premier League proven.
yeah, yeah. Now, interesting one for sure. All right, let's go on to the next one. Mark Gahey.
Mm,
Many Premier League suitors in the last 18 months obviously had a fantastic Euros for England
yeah,
where no one really expected it. Everyone panicked when he was sort of called up. He's had a solid season for Crystal Palace, won the FA Cup, club captain. I'm still not 100% convinced Palace will sell Gahey in the summer. And I'm still not 100% convinced that Gahey will push for a move from Palace either, Gaz. 44
yeah,
appearances, played his part in 17 clean sheets, nearly 4,000 minutes played last year. He's 24, so he's
yeah,
prime central defender, plays left side of a back four. So 24 years old, club captain, England international, price tag in the region of 60 to 70 million. Newcastle, Chelsea hold an interest, Liverpool have held an interest in him as well. Spurs are going to could be in for a dogfight for Gahey if they are seriously interested. And also, does it really? You have to remain to be seen whether Romero goes.
yeah. Well, by the looks of things, this is where I'm a little bit concerned because, as you just mentioned there in what you just discussed there, that he plays on the left side of the central defense, and if he can play on the right side and be comfortable playing on the right side, because it does make a huge difference. People don't think it does. It's
Receiving the ball,
massive. It's
receiving the ball.
100%.
Yeah,
And this is my only thing because no one's going to be knocking Van der Ven out that left side of the role, left side of defense role. And Romero would be our guy there. But if Romero goes, Gahey comes in, I'll be delighted because Gahey's very, very quick. I was surprised how quick he was actually.
yeah.
I thought he was really, really good in the Euros, very impressed. But
Captain material.
Absolutely. 20 prime age, 24, love all that. Okay, love all that. But I think if I was Spurs and we got rid of Romero, I'd like us to go a bit more all out for someone different. And you'll know what I'm going to talk about now because I'm a big fan of his. I think there's a lot of good centre backs about, and it'd be Branthwaite. I'd be going to Everton and say, you know what? We'll give you 17 million for Branthwaite because I know he is a right-sided. He can play on the right side of a central defence.
Do you think Spurs can afford to spend that sort of money on a defender?
When they're doing like for like, yeah, when they're doing that for that's what you need now. So like when we spent 42 million on Romero, we spent 50 million on 45 million on Sanchez. So we're used to spending that sort of money on defenders anyway. But price wise, everything now has increased by sort of 10, 15 mil. So as long as we're getting sort of 60 mil for Romero, 70 mil, which we will do because he's that good, World Cup winner, multiple trophy winner, etc. We could get rid of him. There's no reason why we couldn't just use that money to buy Gahey.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Welcome to those that's just joining us as well on the Footy Social Club. Do us a massive favor, guys. Smash the like button if you can. It is always appreciated. If you're feeling super generous, don't forget to click that subscribe button as well. Content daily, all Premier League content daily on the Footy Social Club. Also, come get in the chat as well. Ask some questions. It'll appear on screen. Absolutely love the questions. We'll definitely do our best to answer them as the show goes on over the next half an hour or so. Look, I think Gahey's a smart move for any one of those four clubs that are shown on screen there. I think
Yeah.
Gahey would improve Liverpool overall. I just don't think Liverpool financially, with looking at Frimpong, Wirtz, Kirkes, it's rumoured that they'll go in for Ekatike. I can never say his name right.
Oh, he's
Um,
unbelievable.
as a number 9 as well. Ekatike, I think it is. Sorry.
If they, I'm going to tell you something here now. If they buy Etakike, right, Verts, okay, Frimpong,
Done.
and Kirkes, done.
Yeah.
Just go and stick a proper chunk of your wages on Liverpool to win the league. It is done.
It's cooking.
Over. Full burst. Because that is ridiculous. That Etatike, I'm a huge fan of him. I'd love Spurs to get him. My
Yeah.
God, he's a hell of a player.
He's a proper forward as well, isn't he? Young as
Really
well.
is, yeah.
But yeah, look, I think he improves the Chelsea backline. I think he improves Liverpool as a backline. I think Kanate is very, very good. I think Van Dijk's exceptional. But I think, at some point, one of those gets injured. And I think if you can, he's Premier League ready, don't get me wrong. But if I'm Mark Gahey, I might say I'm willing to be in and out of the side for a year, knowing that I'm gonna get into this Liverpool side for probably then six or so years.
That's
Chelsea,
it.
he improves them. I don't think Levi Colwill is that good. I think he's good, but I don't think he's that good. And I think Mark Gahey improves them as a backline. Newcastle, well, he's up against Dan Burn. He's definitely better than Dan Burn. As much as we all love what Dan Burn is as a footballer, Gahey improves Newcastle's backline no end.
Night and day between him and Dan Burn. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, do you think he'll move from Palace? He comes across. I know he's deeply religious as well.
Yeah.
He comes across as a very humble footballer, which in today's world is just not something you genuinely see.
No, definitely not. But yeah, I think he's always going to want to improve, and like he's probably the thing is he's at that age where he's seen probably the likes of Zaha move and it not really work and things like that, and that's where I think with Eze as well. Eze's got a touch of the where it didn't work for Zaha. Zaha went and he come
It's
back.
worked for Elise though.
It works. It's worked for Elise, correct? Yeah, so that might be giving him a little bit more confidence. But for me, I think Palace going to do so well to keep him with all them people interested. He's going to go to one of them, in my opinion.
Okay, that's cool.
But more, I got a funny feeling it could be Newcastle.
Very good, very good. Right, sticking with Palace, a player that you're consistently linked with. I actually heard he's an Arsenal fan, but I could be wrong. I get shot. And there's been other players. Darren Bent's an Arsenal fan, paid for Spurs. David Bentley, a Spurs fan, paid for both Arsenal and Tottenham. It happens, right? They're professionals as well at the end of the day. Eze started the season slow, and then he just took off. Hey to Stephen down in the chat. Welcome along, mate. Parish led us a dance last season when you tried to sign him. I know, funny enough, Stephen, when I was doing the research into Eze today, it pulled up the stories of of Gahey's deal done with Newcastle last season, and Eddie Howe's a massive admirer of his. I know he is. So it'd be interesting to see. Also, the Newcastle content's coming out on Transfer Target, Stephen, this Thursday. So make sure you join us for that one, 8 a.m. as well. But yeah, no, look, Eze, proper player, 50 to 60 million, 26, 43 appearances in all comps, 15 goals, 11 assists.
It's good, isn't it?
Back end of last season, he just ripped it up, scored in the FA Cup final, heaps of Premier League experience. Interestingly, he's done an interview where he comes out now and says he just wants to win it all, Premier League titles and lot. I mean, he's not going to win Premier Leagues at Spurs. I'm not just saying that to be an idiot. In the next 4 years, I don't believe Spurs win a Premier League title. I just don't.
I did think with Ange. I'm maybe not so sure now he's on the frank.
Do I think you could consistently get back in and around the Champions League and maybe win an FA Cup? Absolutely. But do I think you're going to win the Premier League in the next 4 years? No, because simply put, the gulf that Liverpool are creating is now going to become huge, and only City, I think, are the ones who can challenge. Arsenal won't get anywhere near him next season.
I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Not
doesn't work. It doesn't always work like that.
But we'll see. Yourselves and Bayern Munich linked with him. Munich off the back of the success with Elise and Eze season before last together. That was sexual football the way those two played. Palace have got some great players. They really have got some really good players. This is one, if I was Spurs, it doesn't matter the manager. Ange, Frank, whoever you want to do, I think would be happy to have this player in their team when they walk through the door. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, for me, he is the main signing that we need to get because I really like Eze. He just fits so well. Play on the left, is so good. Can replace Son, gets goals, gets assists. I think he's really good. I'm a big huge Eze fan. Huge Eze fan. I think he would really link well with Spurs. I've seen a lot of his. He's had some sort of. He's been signing autographs in the tunnel. I don't know if you ever see that clip. He was signing autographs in the Spurs tunnel and they was asking, "Are you going to come to Spurs?" And he was like kind of grinning, like a Cheshire cat. So I'm not too sure. I got a funny feeling he's coming to Spurs. I'm not.
Where do you see him playing? Because he's more left than he is right.
Left, yeah, left hand side. So again, as obviously with Son, he'd be rotating a little bit with Son. For sure, if Thomas Frank comes, by the looks of things, Son will probably go into a 2 up the top with Solanke. It'd be a bit different. So yeah, it might look a bit like sort of Dom and Solanke playing as a 2. Eze on the left. Brennan Johnson on the right. Someone like Kulu or Madison in the middle. It's looking a good side then. It's really looking a good side.
Does Eze complement Madison, do you believe?
Yeah, they all do. Anyone on them sort of wavelength that they're on it. Kulusevski, Madison, Eze, they're clever football players. It works. They know what they want. And then you like Son, and you got someone who's going to run all day in Solanke. Pressing, which means that they can always. You're always going to cause people problems of being able to get the ball out, and that's where Tottenham are going to really sort of, do well next season.
If Eze's to come in, is time nearly up for Son at Spurs?
I wouldn't say it's up. It's just he's been nursing a groin injury all season. He had a hernia last year, so he's now starting to get a few injuries. And when you start to get injuries with that sort of speed,
he's not as quick as he was either.
Yeah, I won't go as far as say that he's not as quick as he was, because when he's come back looking fitter in the last few things, he's looked absolutely electric, especially in that in the game before the final there. I mean, I watched a lot of Spurs games, but he is still better now. I think as playing as a 2 or being rested a little bit on the left. But now Son's still got legs in him. I won't worry about that at all. He's still very, very fit, but it's a different type of Son at the minute due to nursing injuries. I think once this groin and this hernia thing, the hernia last year, groin this year, once they then get them sorted, I think he'd be back.
I wondered whether or not Palace may look to offload him out of the Premier League if he was to go.
Well, I would if I was Palace, because you're strengthening someone in Spurs that I know there's a big difference. There's a huge difference between Spurs and Palace. Unfortunately, you're not going to be. But I think, to be honest, they'd just be happy for the money to go again. And I think it'd be more than 50 million too. I think I
fee
think
in the
it'll be a
region
lot
of
of
50 to 50 plus add-ons, up to
it.
roughly 60 million.
Yeah, he's worth it. I think he's worth 50, 60, 70 in my opinion, especially with the numbers that he's producing. He's
Would
that
you
type of
take him
player.
over Sane as a complete package?
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I prefer him than Sane,
Yeah.
for sure. If it was like you could have one or the other, I think I prefer him because I think we really need to sew up that left side as well.
Yep. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right. Let's go on. This man, Angel
Hmm.
Gomes. It's an interesting one. He didn't actually have the greatest of seasons last year. Season before last looked very solid. Out of contract at Lille, 20 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist. 24 years old, former academy United player. Played some first team football for United. Not too many when I look into it linked with his signature at the moment. Do I think he'll end
Hmm.
up back in the Premier League? Quite possibly, I do. Um, I just think that automatically, if you can sign an English player on a free transfer, even if you see him as a short-term project or project, you could sell him on again, and make a tidy little profit on him. Um, I'm not sure on this one. I'm not sure if this is any better than what you've got at
Yeah, no,
Spurs.
it isn't. It isn't exactly what you just said there. It's very disappointing this one for me, because it's an area that we really need to strengthen in. Um, we need a real good number six. We really do. Unfortunately, Gomez, it doesn't look that great as a player, as a someone you can just throw in and go, yeah, I'm going to hang my hat on this guy. Bentancur, is signing a new contract, which is great, but we do need someone in alongside him. Basuma is just too hit and miss. Unfortunately, I'm a huge Basuma fan when to start with, but he's now turned into a liability. He's far too hit and miss at Tottenham, and we need someone with some sort of consistency and the level of consistency. We need to be buying someone like you did with Rice.
Yeah,
That, and you spent the 100 million on someone, and you went bang, it's going to work. Tottenham needs to do that, and that's probably the most important position Tottenham need right now. They really need that player, and we haven't got it.
yeah. I just don't believe Gomez is. He didn't work at Man United for a reason, and Lille's a massive step down. And fair play to him for going over to Europe and having a go. He's definitely not interested in signing a new deal. He wants to come back to the Premier League. He's voiced that. But I can see him being a peg or two. I could see him someone, for example, like Fulham.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? In next to a power. I just don't think
and
he'll.
he'd blend in at Fulham, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
He would blend in, and that just says it all. He would blend in at Fulham. So if he's going to blend in at Fulham, how on earth is he going to be what Spurs need as a six? He ain't.
yeah.
So, for me, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to be buying him because we're just adding numbers when we don't need to add numbers. We need to add quality in that situation because we've got numbers there. We've got Saar, we've got Basuma, we've got Bentancur. There's other youth lads we can bring in as well if we really want to. You got that, Abbott, George Abbott. He's thinking about coming. He's pushing on the first team start. But like I said, we need like a ready-made someone that's going to be better than all those three as a six.
Yeah, I agree. I think Angle Gomez, I would not bother with at all.
You
Just
want to
while
sell
you,
Rice to us now?
no chance, mate. No, no. Rice is still cooking very well at Arsenal. Made the Champions League team of the season as well, Declan Rice. So that shows you
Mm,
his stock's gone up. Just while you were talking away there, Gaz, as well, Seventh Creative. There's a rumor Liverpool are actually now looking at Victor Osimhen along with Verts, which would equal game over. I mean, like Liverpool could just be about to basically tie the Premier League up for the next 2 or 3 years.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it could be different gravy if you're at the red side of Merseyside. Let's go on to the next man, Xavi Simons. I
Mm,
call this kid a PlayStation player.
yeah.
17 goal contributions, 10 goals, 7 assists in 30 appearances last season. 22 years old, heaps of potential, heaps of potential. United have held an interest, dropped away. They just don't physically have the money, the European football. Liverpool have held an interest, but Look, is he better than anything they've got currently? The answer's no. Florian Wirtz is going to come in at Liverpool as well. They're just not going to spend the money on Xavi Simons. Was at PSG from memory as well once upon a time, out at RB Leipzig at the moment. They've got Benjamin Sesko, Leipzig looking to recover big money. So there could be a deal there, maybe, rising to 60s, but maybe a little bit earlier in the 40s, potentially with add-ons. Technically, Gaz, very, very good on the ball. He's Dutch. Great on the ball, good
Mm.
engine, great character in terms of the confidence. I like that. And in some respects, I think he would get Spurs fans off their seats in terms of receiving the ball, turning on the ball, his movement, his pass. But again, is he just too young for what you need?
Yeah, a little bit young for me, a little bit young. Like he ain't no much difference from what we've actually got, in my opinion. And people like Odebear can play in that role
He's
as
better
well.
than Odebear.
Easy,
He's
easy
better than
though.
Odebear, man.
I don't know. I mean, Tell, Odebear, they're all young kids, like another 22-year-old. I don't know. For me, nah, I'd be passing on this one for me. It's too much money for the age. I just think he's he's no Van der Vaart, put it that way. And not many successful Dutch guys come to the Premier League. I've seen all these. Who's that Everton guy? They had. Oh God, that who's the Everton guy?
Yeah, I can't.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? Klassen, Davy Klassen.
yeah.
He strikes me like another guy like him. And
I
and he's
think I
a
think he's
flop.
good.
I think he'd flop.
I think he's good, Gaz, in the sense of for his age, he's already made a lot of appearances, playing football. He's
Mm.
a Dutch international. Technically,
That doesn't say a
Spurs
lot, though,
fans,
mate. That doesn't say a lot.
the Dutch are a good side. Technically, Spurs fans historically like a player that plays nice, attractive football. Xavi
Mm.
Simons does that. He does do that. I
Yeah,
think the issue is more the price.
it is too much, mate. It's too much. Like 60 mil is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
He doesn't want him. He doesn't want him. Move
No.
on. Let him go. Don't worry about it. Last man on earth wouldn't sign him.
No, 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 no. It's too much money, man. It's too much money. I mean, he can go to United. He just screams flop for me. Something about it, it just screams flop, and it's far too risky. Far too
One
risky.
thing that could be a risk for him is the size. It sounds stupid. His frame size is very. Yes, he's athletic and whatever else, but could he be bullied off the ball? And the
Exactly.
other side of it is whoever comes in, if it's not Ange or if it is Ange that stays, can they keep affording to have players that have got just potential? They
Yeah.
can't, can they? Because
No.
Newcastle are going to evolve this year. Chelsea are going to be better than what they were this year, and this Chelsea side made the Champions League again.
Mm,
Arsenal will improve. Dare I say it? Although I don't think they'll get there next season. United are going to improve as well. Does a Xavi Simons improve Tottenham? I'm not so sure.
no, I'm the same. I agree.
Matt down in the chat, how can you say the Dutch rarely succeed in the Premier League? Robin, Van der Sar, Van Persie, Van Dijk, just off the top of his head. I'll add Gravenberch to that. Cody Gakpo, Dennis Bergkamp,
Let-
Mark Overmars. Spurs fans know nothing about Dutch football.
there's a load of the Dutches that didn't do any good. Trust me.
Van der
Yeah, Van
Beek.
der Beek.
Yeah,
There you go.
Donny Van der Beek. Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
plenty. There's plenty of dodgy Dutch ones. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
Cocu and all
dear.
them guys. Yeah, there's plenty. But no,
Okay.
I just it's just not what we need. It's not what we. If he was 20 million, yeah, but it's 60 plus mil. Nah,
If
he's
he's
not what we
20
need.
million, I think your biggest thing for Spurs, Gaz, is that
Yes.
he would come in as a squad player.
Yeah,
And
we don't want squad
you're not in
players.
a position to no, your 1 to 11 is what must be improved this summer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we've got players. Do you know what I mean? We've got squad players, and but we haven't. Tottenham's not got a numbers issue, in my opinion. We have an injury issue, which was bad, and so yeah, in comparison to the injuries, you'd say we have a slight numbers issue, but not in that area. We don't. We just need someone who's better than what we've currently got. or going to push what we've already got, and he doesn't do that for me.
Fair enough. Right, let's go on. Number 6 of 9, Matthias Tell
Hmm.
joined joined you guys in January. And just before I carry on, guys, and we're talking about Tell, guys, if you could do me a huge, huge, huge favor, smash the like button for me. If you're in there watching, haven't done it yet, thinking, oh, it doesn't really matter, someone else will press it. It does matter. It matters hugely to us. So
It does.
please hit the like button. If you're feeling super generous, smash the subscribe button as well. That helps the channel grow. Plenty of effort being put in by all of us at the Footy Social Club. We are on the march to 25,000 subscribers. We want to hit that by the end of next season. Every sub counts, every like counts, as does every comment. As you can see, the ones that have just come up a few moments ago, we've already spoken about. So do us a favor, get in the chat as well. And whilst you're there, smash that like button. Thank you very much. Matthias Telgaz, for me, would not be signing this French kid.
Oh, I would. I would. Um, why? Because he can take people on. That's one thing I do like. Can play off the left, which is good. Can play through the centre too. He kind of does two positions. And this is why, and that's the main reason why I have him, because he can play two positions and play two positions quite well. He can play through the centre as a cover for sure, and he can play off the left. I think he's better off the left, in my opinion. And like I said, right now he's pressure for Son. If we do buy, if we do get Thomas Frank, which I think we do, I think we have to buy this kid. It's so important that we buy this kid, unless he wants to bring Sade with him or whatever, maybe. But I really think we really need this kid because he does two positions, and if Son's going to start playing, in this sort of 3-5-2 as the left-sided striker, he he will do the same thing, play left-sided striker as well as someone on the left. But we need Eze. So yeah, we're a little bit like that side. So it's a must-have for me.
All right, so let's talk about this in a slightly different way. On screen at the moment, 31 appearances last year, 3 goals, 2 assists, all competitions. That's both for Bayern Munich and Spurs. Let's
Yeah.
break this down into just focusing on the Premier League. So just give me a second because I think you're wasting your money here. 13 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist.
Yeah. Well,
50
he's only.
million, 50 million for that.
Yeah.
50 million.
Well,
Eze's in the region of 60.
the difference.
You're not doing both.
Well, I think we are doing both because
Spurs
we
can't
are doing
afford it.
both. Yeah, they can afford it. Of
No,
course,
they
they can
can't.
afford it. They
They
can.
can't.
They got 200 mil to. They got 200 mil to spend Tottenham this year. We can afford it, and for sure. I think they're actually trying to renegotiate. This is a loan option to buy, so we've already paid the loan fee on this guy anyway. Right, that's the first thing. Okay, and there will be an option like a sanction in there where you'll be able to get him slightly less than that. So it probably won't. He ain't gonna cost us 50 million quid. It'll definitely be less. You mark my words when we sign him, but he come very sort of raw, as in like not really used as much in Bayern. Lots of sort of sub appearances. So where you see all these appearances there, tons of subs appearances. Come into a Spurs team which was down in tools a little bit, sort of coasting a little bit, not really struggling in the league, and he was looking our best player in certain games. I like this kid. I'd give him a bit more time for sure. I think a full season in him, you know, I think he'd be very good. You can't compare him you can't just have a guy coming in who's struggling for game time and expect him to hit the ground running in a team that's down in tools in the league and focusing on a separate competition. It's not fair. It's not fair to do that.
Do you think it might be better to go back to Bayern and try and do another loan deal for a season
Maybe.
with an obligation to buy?
Yeah, that could be another option. That might be another option, to be honest. For sure. That could, yeah, I'd take that too. But I've got no doubts that this kid is good enough, in my opinion. No doubts. I like that he can take on people. Not many people can take on players. Okay, they're few and far between. This guy can do that. Okay, and at the moment, he's one of the only ones that can do that with success. I mean, people like you got young kids in Mikey Moore and stuff like that that can do it as well, and Odegaard and things like that. But they're young, very, very young. This guy,
He's 20.
albeit young,
Yeah, so he's
but this
20 this
guy's
year.
young. He's a little bit more first team experience. He's had first team experience in Bayern Munich, even though it's been very little. Yeah, for me, I'd be signing this kid.
Matt Danciak, Tell scored a pointless goal against Villa in the loss and then scored against Southampton, who conceded about 1,000 goals last season.
Hmm.
He's on par with Hoyland. I just, uh,
Nah,
Big Ange,
that is bang out. That is deluded to say that. You got to think of a kid who hasn't played coming to the Premiership. He hasn't played at all over there, not at all, and he's come rusty, like no game time. That's why he come on loan, right? And they only loaned him because they thought, this kid's just rusty. They know the quality is there. This kid is quality. They know the quality is there. Okay, that's why they were only willing to loan him. But like I said, you can't just loan someone, lob them in a Premier League, in a team that's struggling in the Premier League, and not really focus on the Premier League and expect him to be pulling up trees. He ain't going to do that. Mark my words.
yeah, it's not a 50 million pound player. The world's gone mad if he's 50. If he's 50 million, Eze's 80.
Eze is probably 80. I'd say Eze is undervalued. Correct. Yeah. But Spurs won't be paying 50 million quid for this kid. I told you. We've already paid the loan fee. The loan fee, I think, was 10 million that we had. We paid 10 million to have him for, half a season, whatever.
13 goals. So if we look at him from a Europa League standpoint, Gaz, let's see if I can find. Oh, perfect. There he is on screen. So the Europa League, which is the competition you won, that you went all out for, 5 appearances, no goals, no assists.
Yeah.
I just don't get the 50, whatever it is, the overall package, loan plus now, whatever it is, I don't get this in Matthias Tell. I don't get this at all.
Yeah,
I'd say to you with this one, bin him off and go and do Sane on a free. Honestly.
No. 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 We need someone on that left. This guy does 2 positions. If we bin him off, we've just got to buy more players. So yeah, if we bin him off, we've got to buy Eze. We've got to buy. If we bin him off, we've got to buy Eze. We've got to buy Sane, and we need another striker.
There's his Bundesliga appearances: 8 appearances, 1 assist.
Yeah, 8 appearances. That's nothing.
No,
off the bench.
Probably, yeah, but it's not a 50 million pound player. But look, let's move on.
Munich in the first place for? Why is he at Bayern Munich for the first place for?
Well, mate, there's 1,001 kids that go to clubs that don't make it. Let's go on. This one's an interesting one. Back to a player that a few clubs.
Now this guy's floppy. If there's ever a guy who's floppy, it's this guy. Come with all the promise coming to Chelsea, thinking he's going to be the next big thing. And Kunku this. Yeah, he's been all he's done is blow up balloons when he scores. That's all he does. Balloon boy. Nah, I don't want this guy at all. I mean, as soon as him blowing that balloon, he's gone for me. I can't be doing with them players. We don't need them players. If you can have him, change that to Arsenal to high. We don't want him.
I don't want him at Arsenal either, at all. In fact, I really don't want him at the club. I just don't understand why. I don't know. I just don't understand why anyone wants Nkunku in the Premier League.
No, not a chance. He is damaged goods at best. So, 100%. What a risk he is.
Injuries, the biggest risk for me with him.
Everything. Attitude, injuries, diva. Nah. I can't do them players, mate. Honestly, no chance. We want to get rid of them players, divas.
Blowing the balloon up when he scores.
Was it blowing the balloon up? Going all that stuff. Yeah,
he was good in Germany though, Gaz.
Good in Germany. Yeah. That's it in Germany.
It's a shame because I think I think there's a player there.
Not with his attitude, mate. You can't get away with giving it the big uns in the Premier League. You can't. Not anymore. Too clever. People are too smart. They go, oh yeah, he's just a bit. We can wind him up. He's done. You don't want people like him. He's not a winner.
Yeah, I think it's unbelievable. Just bring his stats a bit. He played 42 times last year for Chelsea. 14 goals and 5 assists.
Yeah. Don't know where he got them 14 goals. Maybe in the Conference
I
League or
can,
something like
I
that. He
can, I
certainly didn't
can
get them.
tell, I can tell you.
I bet
Yeah,
he did. I bet he didn't get them in the league.
7 goals in the Conference League.
There you go.
Premier League, he bagged 3 goals in 27 appearances.
Ooh, prolific. Yeah, keep blowing your balloons up, mate.
Um, yeah, uh, and Cuckoo's not one. Um, watch. Oh, 1 second. Come down into the chat here. Just give me 1 second. Um, watching in a bit of a delay, but hearing you say Dutch players don't do well in the Premier League is nonsensical.
No,
Yes,
then.
they tend to be technical, which doesn't always hold up in the physical Premier League. But technical players are what get crowds on their feet. And I think I did say that Spurs
Yeah.
like a player that can get on their feet. I think, guys,
Absolutely.
you probably want to retract the statement
No,
that
I don't.
Dutch players aren't good. They are more than good enough for the Premier League.
Certain Dutch players. Okay, we've been bitten by many Dutch players. Yeah, we've had some good ones in Van der Vaart. Don't get me wrong. I loved Van der Vaart. Absolutely Van der Vaart. But there's too many. Janssen, absolute flop. Literally 20 odd goals he scored. We can give him the number 9 shirt when he come. Vincent Janssen, yeah, we'll have him. He was wank, absolute wank. Okay, and we've got there's lots of players like that. Honestly, Davy Klaassen, De Jong. Who's the other guy that sounds good? Played for Everton. Matt talked about him earlier on there. But he went to United. What's his name?
Donny van der Beek.
Donny van der Beek. Sounds good, doesn't it? Donny van der Beek. Brilliant at Ajax. Looked great at Ajax. Oh, Donny van der Beek. Got to be quality. Absolute wank in. Right? There's loads of players like that that are wank. And yes, there's the Robin Van Persie's and your Bergkamps and all that. Yeah. Back in the day. Not
Arjen
anymore.
Robben.
Robin and all that stuff. Amazing. Don't get me wrong. Brilliant. Brilliant. But we're talking years
What
ago.
about Justin Kluivert at Bournemouth?
Justin Clark. Yeah, all right, but he's all right, isn't he? He's there. Okay, he's probably the best success story in the Premier League.
I think
Justin
I
Kluivert.
love Dutch players, mate. It takes you back to the Championship Manager
Yeah,
days.
over Mars and all that. Them
Yeah.
days are gone. They're not about anymore. They're not about anymore. I mean, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, brilliant. Yeah, unbelievable. But I'm talking about modern, these, well, I say modern players, these players in the last sort of 10 years and stuff. Hit and miss, hit and miss.
Bergkamp,
Yeah.
Overmars, Van Dijk.
Bergkamp,
They're all coming.
old. Yeah, give me some new ones, Seventh Creative. Give me some new ones. Give me some new ones 5 years ago. Come on.
I love Gravenberg.
Yeah, Granberg's pretty good. But he was shit. He's only
Van
been
Dijk.
turned good. Van Dijk's old. He's been around for ages. Give me someone new.
Gravenberg is
What
must.
about people like Anthony that come? And I know he's
Not
different
Dutch
nationality,
though.
but not Dutch. We come from a Dutch league though.
Yeah, yeah.
Shite.
Look,
Anyone that comes from Dutch leagues, you're shite.
Cam Shanks, give me Xavi Simmons. You can't compare him to Janssen. Oh yeah, Janssen was terrible, wasn't he?
Absolute
Janssen,
pants.
Janssen was awful. 60 million's a bit steep, but he would improve the squad. There you go.
Squad. We don't want squad players. We want ready-made people that's going to challenge the thing. And I'm 60 million. He ain't going to make Tottenham any better. He isn't going to make Tottenham any better. As in, oh yeah, we're going to put in this Simmons in. Bang. Who's he play for? Who's he come in and replace?
Guys, come in and
Kulusevski?
debate
No.
any of the players we've talked about
Madison?
so far.
No. No, he's in replace any of them. No chance.
There we go. We shall see. We shall see. But Nkuku's definitely a no. 45 million. I think that's even steep as well. Name a good Brazilian at United.
Yeah, exactly.
There isn't one.
What
So,
nationality is that Xerxes, Christian?
Dutch.
There you go. Another fucking useless player. Modern Xerxes. There's tons of them. I just can't think of him in my head at the minute. Xerxes. Oh, he looks good, doesn't he? He looks useless. He looks like he should be on a basketball pitch with big bloody Jordans on. That's what he looks like he should be doing. Not playing football. Useless.
Fair enough, guys. Point taken. We shall move on and we'll go to Tyler Dibbling now.
Now he is a player.
Now, Gaz, this one is a bit interesting because It's Memphis flop.
Memphis, another one. Memphis Depay, fucking useless.
More like a pie.
Yeah, another one. Well done. Thank you. Said that one. Memphis Depay. You just
Um,
Tyler Dibbin. Sorry, Chris.
Back in January, Southampton were reportedly wanting £100 million for this player.
Yeah.
Dean Huijsen, Spanish, go back to bed.
Spanish, go back to bed, Matt.
Tyler Dibbling is not worth £100 million in anyone's, or even 100 million in any currency. I don't believe. 19 years old, potential, not the finished article. 38 appearances last year for a rubbish Southampton side, 4 goals, 2 assists. It now is believed that Southampton would do a deal in the region of £40 million.
I love that. They go 100 million to 40 million. So that's a classic. We're gonna over egg everything so we can get 40 million for him or something on those lines. Because if we come out and we say he's worth 40, 50, if we come out and say he's worth 60 million, we're probably only going to get 20. So yeah, they've gone 100. Is he worth 40 million? He probably is.
Like, there's so many great Dutch players getting pumped in.
Gullit, how old's Gullit?
Van Nistelrooy, Gullit.
Oh, come on now. You're not listening to what I'm saying. Years ago, Gullit, what was he, last 5 years, Gullit?
I'll give you
older than me.
Ed de Hoy.
Ruud van Nistelrooy. How old's he again? Come on, Gav. Sort your head out.
Ed de Hoy. Sander Westerveld.
Van der Sar. How old? Old. Give me some new modern
Jaap
ones.
Stam. Now there's a centre half.
Old.
Great centre half. What Jaap Stam was. Great centre half. Anyway, back to Tyler Dibbling and Southampton. Gaz, talking about throughout this show, buying players with experience, would you let that go by the wayside to sign Tyler Dibbling? And where do you see him playing if you're going to sign him?
He plays on the left, doesn't he? So I like him. He's a real winger. Can play both sides, actually. I've seen him play both sides. I've watched a couple of Southampton games, and he's changed in the game, and I like that. He looks really sort of skillfully, he's a socks rolled down to the halfway down his calves type of player, and
Grealish.
looks a bit Grealish-ish, stuff like that, So yeah, I do like him. I think he could play. 40 million is a bargain, in my opinion. 30-40 million bargain, but I just think 100 million is a joke.
Botman,
100 million is a joke.
100 million is a joke. Hey guys, what about Jermaine Frimpong? He's Dutch. He's come to the Premier League. 30 million for Liverpool.
Well, we don't know about him yet, but he could be good. Maybe.
Look, Tyler Dibbling. I again feel like Spurs need to let this one pass them by. I don't see that he's going to. You're not going to play Tyler Dibbling next season and go, he's the difference maker. And I think that's actually this summer Spurs' biggest problem.
Yeah. The problem is the difference makers, unfortunately, Christian, they cost a lot of dough. There's only so much when you need to strengthen in multiple areas. Like Tottenham needs to strengthen in five areas. I think I texted you the areas that we really need to strengthen. We need a centre half. We need a 6 really badly. We need a 6. We need a couple of wide players and maybe a forward. We need 4 or 5 players. Well, if you want to buy ready-made players for 5 positions, it's 500 million quid. You ain't going to do that. So unfortunately, you've got to box clever on people like 40 mils and hope that they work and there's resale value if they don't quite work. That's how we got to box, and that's how a lot of clubs have got to box at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, obviously wages and stuff would be easy for Tyler Dibbling, bigger transfer fee, but you're probably not talking 50 grand a week for a Tyler Dibbling.
Not massive money.
I don't think so. I mean, you've great history in the past. Let's not forget Gareth Bale came from Southampton, and look what he went on to achieve. I think he's got great potential. Who go? Wiz is back. Van Dijk, Van der Ven, Frimpong, Gakpo, Reinders, Gravenberch, Kluivert. They will make you eat your words, Gaz. Look, that's the beauty of this. It's all about opinion. I'm excited about Tijani Reinders going to Manchester City. Let me tell you, I love watching him at AC Milan. I think he's absolutely built for a Pep Guardiola system. Reinders is going to be super exciting. They're linked with Ait Nuri as well today. But Dibbling, I just think I don't think he's high on the Spurs radar right now. United have been linked with him as well, Newcastle as well in the past. Um, Spurs have registered an interest. I think it was a bigger interest in January. I think they bulked as everyone did at the 100 million. And I think Southampton at that point were like, well, we've got to try and stay up. If we sell our very best, we've got absolutely no chance. And now you're seeing a more realistic transfer fee for a player of his age and experience. But
Mm.
this summer is probably the wrong summer for a Tyler Dibling.
At Spurs, that it's not the right. Yeah, you're absolutely nailed on the head, Christian. What you just said,
Perfect.
nailed it.
We'll move on then. Not going to happen. Here we go. Then we'll come to the last man.
Now this guy does like get me a little bit off my feet. I'm going to ask you a question here now. What percentage do you think Thomas Frank is going to be at Spurs, or Ange going to be at Spurs?
I
Even
think it's
percent.
right. I think it's at 60-40 Thomas Frank.
Yeah, yeah. I'm slowly getting my head round thinking it's going to be Thomas Frank. Okay, and if it is Thomas Frank, I think he has the pull to bring Mbeumo to Spurs.
Do you know why I'm not sure if it's Thomas Frank?
What?
Is
Why?
because they've signed Kelleher, the goalkeeper. They sanctioned the Flecken deal and
Yeah,
they've allowed Kelleher. And surely, if Kelleher's moving to Brentford, you're wanting to talk to the manager to understand, hey, I'm leaving Liverpool. Am
could
I
Kelleher be a board signing though, mate? Could Kelleher be like just a board signing
at 12
because
million?
yeah, it's not huge money, is it?
It's big money for Brentford.
Is it really though? Is it really? Or is it someone they need anyway? I think it's potentially someone they need. And I thought, you know what? We'll have him. He looks good. He was good at Liverpool. We'll have him. He's bound to be useful. You know, he's almost like he ain't going to cost us anything if we like. There's no risk there in Keller, is there? Keller is a no risk signing,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
12 million
correct.
quid. Could you sell? Could you sell him in 2 years' time for 20 million? Yeah, you'll make money on Gallagher, right? So he's not really a do you need him, do you don't need him type of thing. Yeah, so that's not an issue. Uh, but yeah, because you know what, if we are getting Thomas Frank, I'd love to get him by Merit Spurs.
Does he? But if you get Thomas Frank, do you think he becomes Spurs' main target? And could this possibly, as a transfer, because Manchester United lead the way with Mbeumo at the moment, it is
Yeah,
widely being reported. We're getting hit in the chat with it whilst we're talking that
yeah,
Mbeumo is the man that United really want, and Mbeumo wants the move to United as well,
yeah.
right?
Mm,
60 odd million is a bargain for a player. I talked about him the other day. 42 appearances in all competitions, 20 goals and 9 assists, 29 goal contributions. Is basically, well, his goals are nigh on 1 in 2.
yeah,
You know, it's for not 30, nigh on 30 goal contributions in 40 that is red hot. I'm surprised it's not 100 million. I think that's purely contractually. He's got
yeah,
about a year to go, I think. So Bryan Mbeumo, Newcastle definitely want him, and that's harsh on Murphy because Murphy's had a great season at Newcastle. Stephen Field down there, wants saying he wants the Manchester United move. Gavin's saying about in the seventh creative United keeping Bruno. I'll get your opinion on that, Gaz, in a minute as well. He's rejected Al Hilal, £750,000 a week. He's rejected to stay at Manchester United, a sinking ship where they cannot put the corks in the holes quick enough.
no,
Cunha and Buemo, Bruno, the latter combined have 37 goals. United had 44 all season.
mm,
Whoever gets some Buemo, he is going to be worth 15 odd goals for that Premier League side next
yeah. Well,
season. That's
here's one for you,
huge.
right? Yeah, here's one for you about Mbeumo, right? 20 goals there, okay? Xavi Simons, we said about before,
Yeah,
60 million or Mbeumo? Who are you going to pick?
yeah.
Absolute no-brainer.
But
Uh,
then Tell is 50 million. Who are you going to pick?
Mbeumo, because Mbeumo is undervalued there. But Not for Spurs, because Mbeumo, like I said, tells two players for Tottenham. He's not just one player for Tottenham. The way we're light in them areas, so he's two players for Spurs. But if Thomas Frank comes to Tottenham, I'm pretty sure he could bring Mbeumo with him. I'd be surprised if he didn't, because why wouldn't you? Why would you get Man United?
Because why not?
Why do you want to play Champions League?
Yes, you do want to play Champions League.
Tottenham have a lot better team than Man United. Tottenham project is a lot easier than the Man United project. The Man United project is, we need to be signing players in a boardroom. That's how Man United need to sign players. They need to get like all their targets in a room saying, you come in, you come in, you come in, hands up if you come in. That's how United need to buy players, not one, because who wants to risk it? Who wants to risk being the first person to come to United?
Yeah.
United, no project.
Hey, Bryan Mbeumo is a bit like me, Gaz. Bald head and a beard and only 25 years old.
Yeah, what's that about?
25, mate. What can I say?
You have got a bit of the Mbeumo's about you, just maybe a bit more pasteurized then.
I'm not sure. Thomas Frank would definitely improve Spurs' chances, but I'm still going to say that United and Newcastle lead the way on this one.
Not if Thomas Frank goes, and if Spurs want it, if Tottenham want him, if Thomas Frank comes in and the Spurs want him,
being that Brentford are in London as well, it means
100%.
the uproot is far less.
Of course. Why would you bother? Why would you bother?
Yeah.
Newcastle.
What would that mean for Brennan Johnson? Because he ain't going to play in front of
competition, isn't it? Competition, young lad, good competition. You need that. You need them competition for places.
Farron asked a question, guys. Thomas Frank has never managed a UEFA Champions League club. What makes people think he's any better? Great question. Thank you very much for asking that as well. Brilliant question. I think this. I'll give you my opinion first, and then Gaz, I'll get yours. I think there's certain managers that you look at and you watch their style of football, you watch how they act as a manager, and you go, he's at his ceiling with Brentford. He's taken them as far as he can take them. But he's got levels to go within himself. He's able to manage, I believe, players of any standard, of any, whether they're bigger than what you've seen at Brentford. He's built a team from absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And he's overachieving at Brentford. And I think that he has the ability to go again at another level. And I think Spurs would suit a Thomas Frank. Actually, I think Thomas Frank would suit a number of clubs in the Premier League, all of them above Brentford. And isn't it as well about whatever you do in your career, it's about progression. And he's proved himself as a manager at this level. And I think he deserves an opportunity to prove himself at the next level.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. It's just that, like I said, I've got no problems with Thomas Frank at all. I haven't. I just feel a little bit deflated that Ange couldn't finish the project. I just think we're pushing the button a bit too early on Ange, unfortunately. And is he better than Ange? I don't think so. However, I do like him. I do like
on him not being better. It can't be the Europa League final. It cannot.
No, he doesn't know the players as well, for one. Like, Ange has built this relationship now with players. You can just tell by the celebrations, and they've just got that sort of relationship with him. And some players are going to go, you know what? We've got another manager coming in. What was wrong with him? And it's like, it just takes the pin out of your progression. And you can, and I'm sure Thomas Frank could get them all back up again. But I just think it just takes the sort of pin out of it. I think if Thomas Frank, I'll give you an example, right? If Ange stays at Spurs, where do Tottenham finish next year? I'll put it in your back to you. If Ange stays at Spurs, where do Tottenham finish next year, roughly?
Not top 5.
Give me a place. Number
6 to 7.
6th or 7th. If Thomas Frank comes to Tottenham, where do Tottenham finish?
6 or 7.
There you go. There you go. That's what I'm saying. There isn't much in it. And I thought of this myself. I was thinking, you can't guarantee me Thomas Frank is going to make Tottenham finish top four. You can't do that. Whereas Ange could potentially go top four if something goes right because he's got that thing. You wouldn't be shocked if Tottenham finished top four next season. I'd be a little bit shocked if Tottenham finished top four with Thomas Frank.
Yeah, there is
New
so
new
slightly
man.
differing. Yeah,
Yeah,
slightly differing in the reason that I think Ange under Ange 6 or 7. I just think that's realistically about as high as you can get them.
yeah.
Thomas Frank is something similar, but only because it's the start of a new project, and for that reason, 6 or 7 is a very good season. I would then say under Thomas Frank.
You're delaying the inevitable. You're just putting yourself back. That's what I'm saying with Spurs. Tottenham are just by changing managers, we're putting ourselves back and not risking a little bit more, and that's what frustrates me. And that's just frustrating because you can't keep pushing yourself back.
Is there a world where Spurs can finish top four? Let me get back down into the chat quickly. Farron, again, thank you very
Under
much for
Ange,
the
yeah,
question. Really good one. Hi there, Bryan Mbeumo, 60 million move deal to Newcastle United. Gittins and Gahey, Pedro, Jonathan David sign for Newcastle United. I don't see all those players going. I know Newcastle have got money to burn. I just don't see Eddie Howe doing that much. But Ray, really appreciate it. Guys, do us a massive favor. For those of you, if I've asked you a question, you haven't hit. Sorry, if you've asked a question, you haven't hit the like button yet. Do me a massive favor, smash the like button as well. Again, Ray saying 60 million for Mbeumo. Gavin wants to know what the project is, Gaz, at Spurs. Matt says, nice to see Ange get Spurs relegated. Mate, there's so many players that Ange never speaks to them. Farhan's back. I'm just asking as an AC Milan fan. I've been keeping up with Antonio Conte for many years, and his stint with Tottenham went sour, as it did for so many managers. And I don't think Thomas Frank can do any better than Conte. I think the thing with Conte is, Fran, and
shout.
I look, Conte's a winner. He's just proven that with what he's done for Napoli in Serie A this year. I mean, once again, got in and won the league. But Conte is a man that fights with fire, fights with a sword. He'll die on his sword. And I think personalities between him and Levy clashed. He came out and did an interview where he basically threw the club under the bus. And I think his pragmatic approach to football didn't excite Spurs enough as fans, and that's maybe a little bit short-sighted by Spurs fans, Gaz, without being too harsh. Conte is a winner. And I think if Spurs had stuck with Conte, maybe you'd be really competing now. But again, look at the demands he puts on an owner or a chairman. Look what he's doing with Napoli. Wins the league. Oh, I'm resigning because I'm not happy with my contract, or I want more money for players. He demands. And
Yeah.
you can't do that with Daniel Levy.
No. And also style of football as well is like it just doesn't suit Tottenham. See, it's what a lot of people don't understand being a Spurs fan, right? And you only get it if you're a Spurs fan. Tottenham love to play attractive football. We've always been that type of team that plays attractive football. We've never been these grind out serial winners teams. We haven't, okay? But we want to play well and win. Of course, we want to win, of course. But we want to play well and look good. And under Conte was drab. Mourinho, drab. And I like Mourinho. I like Mourinho and Conte because of their personalities and the way they like to give shit in the press and so. I like all that because that's just what I'm like,
Yeah.
right? But as in playing that type of style of football, it just doesn't suit Spurs' style. And like I say, Ange is open, but it's just been a breath of fresh air under watching that. And Thomas Frank would be tapered a little bit, but he still likes to press and still create. Brentford still play really good football. We do watch alongs. People don't know in the chat. Me and Christian, we do watch alongs the weekend. Goal rush, and I love it when I get Brentford. And the way they play, and they play football, attacking football. So I've seen a lot of Brentford play, and I think if we can get that at Spurs, that could be a good thing. But it's the right style of manager for Tottenham.
Yeah, Fran's saying, not trying to praise Ange here, but he was a point away from top four last season.
True.
It is. It is. And he dealt with the fact that the club didn't have Harry Kane. No other
There
manager
you go.
has had to do with that since Harry Redknapp, I think, pretty much. So
Yeah.
it's been a long time. Seventh Creative, no one understands why anyone is a Spurs fan. Scientists are still trying to figure it out. Great point. Ray, I'm not going to keep reading out the same thing. Hi, Bryan Mbeumo, 60 million, move deal to Newcastle. It's been up 3 times now. Ray, you can keep saying it. I'm not reading it out. And Mbeumo to Newcastle, love the passion, but maybe write something else for me. You know, give me something different at all. Jim Keogh down in the chat. Jim, welcome back, mate. Hope you're well. He says it's a great day being a United fan. I must admit, Sancho ain't ruining it. He'll go very soon, and no point worrying. Look, United keeping hold of Fernandes is a new signing, although there's still a world where the extra 100 million might have been a good one. And that leads us, Gaz, pretty much perfectly into talking about players that are going to leave the club. There's a little recap on the right hand side of your screen there that shows you the players that Spurs are potentially interested in. Guys, let's just talk about the ones going out that, you know, Spurs may look to offload. Not so much the ones that are going on a free, but
Yeah.
but Spurs are going to have to balance the books like every Premier League club. And I'm not saying they've got FFP issues. I don't mean that before people slam me for that. But who might Spurs look to offload this summer?
Oh, well, as you know, we've offloaded 5 already, which is something we needed.
Højbjerg's turned his move permanent.
Yeah, so I'll read them quickly out there. Yeah, so Alfie Whiteman, he's gone at the back. Reguilon's gone. Werner's gone. So I mean, he was massive injury. Holberg's gone permanent as well, and Forrester, another 2 keepers as well. So regarding players, Tottenham have got rid of a lot of the players. Who are we going to sort of balance books with? That could be interesting. For me, it looks Romero is the classic. So start from the back. Romero would be the big one of getting him out and bringing in someone in like for like. Basuma could be another one.
Reguilon.
Frustrating. Reguilon's gone. He's been released. You know, he's definitely been released. And then obviously, you know, are they going to make Tal permanent? Are they not going to make Tal permanent? You know, the other one there you're going to probably see go at some point would be Brian Hill. He'll be gone. He probably won't be coming back from loan. We've also got a few loan people out that might be coming back in as well. Maybe are we going to cash in on them? I.e., the likes of Solomon. Solomon has been really good at Leeds. He had an amazing season at Leeds. And you know, Tottenham are dying out for that sort of left winging, you know, attacking player, and he's absolutely ripping it up at Leeds. I'd like to see us maybe give him a bit more of a chance. He had no chance at Spurs, and that frustrates me. I'm thinking like, well, why don't give him a bit more of a chance? But you know, if we cash on him, he's probably going to be worth 30 mil as well. So there's definitely money there. There's going to be boxing around. There's no reason. Financials are not going to be an issue for Spurs. It's about whether can we get the right people at the right price.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Down in the chat here, listening along there, Gaz. Who would you like to see? Question for you: who would you like to see Spurs sign that's realistic, that isn't in our rumored list?
That isn't in the rumored list. That's realistic. Okay, is Rodri realistic?
No, come on, give me some proper ones.
Okay. That's not in the list. Good question.
Goalkeeper, I think, would be one for Vicario.
No, goalkeeper's fine. He's fine. No,
Centre forward. Do you think Spurs should have looked at Delap?
Yeah, I'd like to have seen Delap, to be honest. You know, because he's a bargain at 30 million quid. He's a bargain, absolute bargain. So, yeah, because Richarlison could probably be going as well. And if Richarlison went, we do need a striker for sure. But
what about like a Kaoru Matoma from Brighton? Jared Bowen, great.
Yeah, Jared's been linked.
Gaz actually knows Jared Bowen's family quite well.
Yeah, he's been linked. Just got married, actually. Just got married and looks all good. But yeah, I don't know if he's going to he stay down there. I mean, they're huge diehard West Ham fans now.
Yeah,
the family and all that are linked, you know, with Danny Dyer and stuff. But I don't see him moving. Unfortunately, to Spurs. I would love it if he did. Let's get some tickets. But no. For me, I really think we just got to get this number 6. This 6 is an issue. It's a real big issue, this 6 in midfield. So
Adam Wharton from Palace.
Yes, perfect. I love him. I reckon I'd go in if I was Tottenham now. I'd go in and say, right, how much is Eze? How much is Wharton? How much is Gahey? And they go 200 million quid. Done. Let's just figure out how we. Is there any
Transaction.
players you want from us?
Do you do
Is there any
delivery?
players you want from us? Can we chuck in Basuma? Can we chuck in Basuma and some players and stuff like that?
Another Palace player that I think would do really well at Spurs is Mateta.
Oh, he'd do well everywhere, mate, wouldn't he?
I think Mateta would do really well at Spurs.
Yeah.
Only because no,
Dutch players.
any Dutch players. We'll come back to that in a minute. Yeah, look, Stephen Fields offering you Sean Longstaff would improve Spurs. Get a big bid in before he's
Sean Longstaff. Fuck off.
linked with Leeds as well. Oh, here we go. Bryan
Oh,
Mbeumo's back from Ray. Thanks, Ray. Um,
yeah.
why? Ray, you're getting blocked if you keep putting that on.
Block him.
Oh dear. No Dutch players at all. Yeah, no, absolutely not. Max Allegri would have been a perfect manager for Spurs since he had his UEFA Champions League finalists 3 times, but he ended up getting him, and he hopefully will win in the league. Yeah, he's gone to AC Milan. Allegri's never quite got to the Premier League, but yeah, look, Spurs. There will be activity, but they must sort out Gaz the manager first. They must get this manager
That's it.
situation sorted sooner rather than later, because that risk, as we said right back at the top of the show, that risk to falling behind and then doing your business late, and it becomes harder the closer you get to the start of the season.
It costs you more money. Ends up costing you more money because if they know, if Tottenham know that they haven't got a 6, or people know they're not stupid, or they'll go, you know what, Eze's taking ages to go through, then all of a sudden Eze falls through, and then Diblin's price goes from 30, 40 million up to 60, 70 million. It happens, it happens. So, yeah, as long as we're not getting that Xavi Simmons, I'm happy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, mate. We are out of time. Thank you very much for joining us to discuss all things Tottenham. I'll be back tomorrow. Latest transfer news across the Premier League. So make sure you join us then, 11 a.m. UK time. And then Thursday, a little look at Newcastle. We're looking at some of the major clubs across the Premier League, focus on them each week, pick out 2 or 3 clubs, have a discussion about those as well. Thank you very much for everyone that's got into the chat. Thank you very much to Wiz. Thanks, fellas. Have a lovely day, mate. Really enjoyed it. Love the opinions of you guys. Remember, you guys make the channel. It's not just us. We want you to come on and have your opinion. Smash the like button before you go. Don't just click your computer off to something else. If you're the 7th creative, get back to work. I know you've got work to do, sitting there watching along in the chat. So appreciate you joining as well. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, be safe.
See you guys.